In Gold Rush Season 15, Parker and his team have found something very scary. They were unable to say anything. Check out what went down. Age 28, Parker Schnabel drives a truck into the new house he just bought. He bought Dominion Creek with all the money he had, so he is now broke. As time goes on, he loses more and more money. To make up for it, he sets high goals for his team. Since the season started 3 weeks ago, Parker's team has dug up more than 4 acres in the money pit. Parker is determined to make the team work harder this time because he has such a big goal. That's right, he's going to dig up another 4 acres of land in just 3 days.
My goal is to keep the 211s ripping.
When he tells his team this, they all try to figure out what he means because the money needs to keep coming in for the whole season. Parker wants to find at least 6,000 ounces of gold by the end of the season. This will earn him $160 million, which he will use to come back next year and keep the digging going this year. Parker tells his group what they need to do, and then they get to work. Damian Brown, a veteran miner, quickly tells the rest of the crew where they need to start digging and how to be most productive. Before the snow melts, the team needs to mine fast. If they wait, it will take longer for them to move from one area to another. After the oil is extracted, Jacob moves the extra rock to one side while Caden uses a 750 excavator to put the waste into the trucks. The team is working non-stop to finish on time. Jake thinks the truck is stuck somewhere on the way back. The truck finally goes through, which is good, but he hears a strange sound that makes him think something is wrong. When this happens, the truck driver needs to look into the noise to avoid more problems. Jake gets out of the truck and sees that the skid plate is hanging off of it. He calls Mitch right away to tell him what happened. Mitch calls Bill, the handyman, because the team needs to fix this right away. These two people work hard and quickly fix the skid plates by straightening them with the digger. The team will get back to work after that. At the same time, Rick Ness is having a hard time in the Duncan Creek area. Ness's mother died in 2018. Because of this loss, he was so sad that he had to stop gold digging and work on getting better. He went home to take care of himself because he didn't feel understood or heard. Ness had a terrible accident in the 10th season that broke his jaw and knocked out many mission teeth. Having to deal with all of these problems has made him the strong man that his fans know him to be. No changes were made to the original sentence, as it is already grammatically correct. After being at the camp for a few months, Zaremba has to drive back today, which is sad. He thinks Ness is ready to keep working, even though he doesn't trust her and doesn't have any extra money to hire more people. Zaremba should have stayed longer, but Ness is ready to go back to work. He knows that Ness needs to get back to his family, though. Ness had to sell his late mother's house to start the season. As security, he had to give up his camp to the owner of the land. He has already found 21 ounces of gold on the land, which is worth $42,000. As of now, Ness is living from hand to mouth and needs something useful to keep the season going. He has thought of a way to get the money he needs to do this. Ness plans to run 2 piles to get a quick score, and also to focus on the valley, which has a lot of gold. Ness only has one team member working with him now that Zaremba is gone because of his bad luck. Morgan is a gold mining greenhorn on the team. She is renting an old loader that she thinks is really slowing things down. Morgan works hard to get everything done by the due date, but the old loader is giving her trouble, and she thinks something should be done. Morgan feels like something is different in the truck all of a sudden. When she goes outside, she sees that the truck's tire is flat. Ness hears about this from her, and a sad mood comes over the camp.
I'm gonna have to shut down the plant. The loader's got a flat.
The work will be held up for a while because of the flat, and Ness might not be able to keep up his production for the season. Ness is so upset that she chooses to ask Parker for help. Ness talks about his long past with Parker as he leaves his camp. Ness worked as a digger for Parker after he bought his land when he was 17. They became fast friends, and Ness was a big help to Parker when it came to gold digging. Ness was on his way to becoming a manager when he began to fight with Parker. He finally chose to leave the camp because he wanted to be his own boss. They haven't talked in 2 years. Ness thinks Parker knows he's been missing, and he's excited to catch up with Parker. Parker is there when Ness gets to the camp. After hearing about Ness's problems, Parker told him that he was sure he would get better because he had been through a lot himself. He's had some time to think about things, and Ness says that one thing he learned was that he had given Parker some of his best years. Parker likes this because Ness has taught him a lot. Ness tells Parker why he's there. He needs help with a loader that Parker isn't using. As it turns out, Parker bought the camp with $2 million worth of gear, most of which is still not being used. Parker presents Ness with a loader that is not in use. The two of them test it to see how well it works. They made sure the loader works, and Ness wants to figure out how to pay for it. Parker finds it hard to talk about money with Ness. He told him to use the loader for as long as he needed to. In the fall, they would talk about paying him cash. Ness appreciates the kindness because the loader is just what he needs to reach his goal. Ness says he'll get the loader soon. The men said they would keep in touch as they split ways. As Ness leaves the camp, Parker says that what Ness said has been bothering him. Ness is only 42 years old, not 90, so he doesn't think that Ness gave him the best years of his life. To get the loader he needs, Ness is happy to meet up with Parker. But there is a big problem. Since the loader is 5 miles from his camp and weighs 35 tons, he has to pull it. But the ground is soft and unstable because the soil is melting. So even something as big as the loader can damage the roads well. Because of a government rule against such hauls, Ness has to wait at least 1 month for the ground to be stable. The Beats crew at Paradise Creek has been having a rough time somewhere else. It's been 3 weeks since the season began, and the team still hasn't started working on the ground. To keep digging that season and make money, the team needs to get at least 6,000 ounces of gold. Because of this, Tony has chosen to move the mining back to the Indian River claims. This spot has lots of gold that hasn't been mined yet, and is the fastest way for the team to catch up to the other miners and reach their goal. Moving the big tools from Paradise Creek to Indian River is the first thing that needs to be done. Their goal is 40 miles away, so this is a tough job. Also, the road they need to take is very long and dangerous. To get to the camp, you have to drive on a narrow road, go up a steep hill, and then drive down a narrow, twisting path. Mike, Tony's younger son, is here to help with the move, which makes him happy. The team had to stop mining at Indian River 4 years ago because they lost their mine permit. Now, getting permission is very important to their survival, so they are determined to do their best and start right away. The group puts everything they need into the trucks and sets out on their trip. Tony is excited about his new journey, and he likes eating the lunch that he has been bringing in the same lunchbox for more than 30 years. The group gets to the place where Mike's accident happened a year ago. He slows down his truck and tells Tony that he might not be able to finish the rising stretch because he dropped a gear. Tony tries to give Mike some advice, but Mike doesn't like being pushed around, so the two of them get into a fight. Mike's truck finally has to be dragged up the hill by another truck because Mike's is slipping. The team finally gets to the Indian River claims after a while. The team is back in Indian River after 4 years away and ready to get to work right away. As soon as possible, Ness needs to find a way to start digging because he can't wait a month. It's been 2 days now, and Ness is losing more than $8,000 a day on gold production. This is why he has asked Derek, an expert in transport, to help him. Derek is going to move the loader with his custom-built multi-million-dollar truck. The loader's weight will be spread out over its 100-foot length, which will make it less of a burden on the road. Parker's camp is where Ness meets Derek. The two of them take the truck. Derek moves it back to Duncan Creek without any problems, and Morgan can't wait to see what she has to deal with. She can tell right away that the loader is different, and she knows that this will help them get to their goal faster. In the best way she knows how, she is going to help the camp because Ness asked Parker for help. Ness didn't have to wait for 3 weeks, but he's not sure how much can be done with just 2 people. The team is working hard to make their boss happy back at Duncan Creek. The sun is out. Parker keeps losing money, even though they do everything they can, and this is making him unhappy. Chris, a gold recovery expert, comes up with a way to hopefully make Parker feel better. As he looked into things, he found that the fine tailings had some gold in them. It is the waste dirt that is left over after the gold is sorted.
You need to get a cash flow going. Anything could help right now.
He is going to gather the leftovers outside the gold box and hopefully get some gold. Parker works just as hard as his team in the money pit. In other words, 2 bulldozers are tearing up the land while 4 trucks haul away the trash. Each machine uses about 1,200 to 1,500 liters of fuel per round of this hard exercise. Liam, who drives the fuel truck, has to be ready to help out whenever he is called to refuel. In this case, Liam is getting ready to give some gas to a truck that is about to run out. The road that leads to the money pit, on the other hand, is flooded. He tells Mitch about what's going on, and Mitch drives over right away. The truck that brings fuel can't get through because the road is dug deep. Before the rest of the team can throw away the dirt, Mitch tells them to bring it over so they can help fix the road. The team needs to work hard to finish this fast. The team will lose tens of thousands of dollars because they will have to stop digging if the fuel truck can't get across. After some time of work, the road is properly blocked off, and the fuel truck drives into the money pit. Chris, on the other hand, has found enough gold to make a small bar that weighs about an ounce. He is sure that if he keeps going, he will get something else that will help loosen things up for Parker, even if it's only a little. The Schnabel crew finally reached their goal 3 days later. There are now 8 acres of land that has been dug up, which makes the team very happy. The team can now start making things while the rest of the work is still being done. This is reason to celebrate with a drink. Parker goes back to camp and meets Chris there. Chris has a gift for Parker. He gives Parker some small gold bars that are worth $18,000 and weigh 9 ounces each. Then he talks about how he found them in the fine tailings. Parks is pleased to receive his first gold from Dominion Creek. He needs more than that, though, to keep his debts low and keep making things until the next season. He tells Chris that the stress is getting to him, but he's glad that his team is doing well. Chris thinks things will get better, and all they need to do is keep going. After getting used to the Indian River claims, the crew of the Beats is ready to start digging. Tony wants to run a shaker deck wash plant, so he needs to check the old one on the land to make sure the dredge is working right. He looks at everything because he wants his ideas to help them get twice as much gold. Tony knows that they need to get some new screens and other tools to keep an eye on the digging process. But the place is in better shape than he thought. He uses the dredge to dig some dirt and finds gold. This means that the season will be better for him and his family. If you like the movie so far, please like it and subscribe to the channel. The two of them sit down in the gold room to check out what they've earned this week. For digging to keep going for another week, Ness needs at least 20 ounces of gold. He thinks that the lot they have will help them. But since it was done by 2 people, he isn't sure. Morgan gets the gold that was collected, and the 2 of them weigh it. The team is shocked and relieved when they find 20.73 ounces of gold. This is worth $42,000, which is enough for Ness to keep digging for another week. Morgan is told that they need to get some new tools and hire more people so that they can reach their goal by the end of the season. That was a summary of Gold Rush Season 15, Episode 3. The miners are all set on doing the best they can to make as much money as possible from their land. Thanks for seeing it. We'll see you in the next show. Parker makes a choice that seems to have hurt him more than he thought it would. He is driven and wants to make that big break. As if Parker Schnabel wasn't having enough money, the harsh Alaskan environment is too. His goals have cost him everything, so he is about to fall. In this game of Gold Rush, every choice can make or break a season, and it's too much to handle. Parker is going bankrupt. So is the Gold Rush over? Come along with us as we go over the specifics. Episode 4 of Season 14. The show called Free Agent has many exciting moments. First, Parker has gone to Dominion Creek, a famous claim worth over $15 million that is full of opportunities, but also dangerous places. Parker has lost all of his money in his crazy search for gold. Gold panners worked on it in the early days of the Klondike. It's said that this 4-acre monster has a long past and is the site of several gold stories. It's no longer easy to get what you want, though. Parker is looking for gold, but it has been covered over for a long time and is deep. Both time and the harsh environment of the Klondike say this. The past has been dug up from the depths of this hidden treasure by people. It's not a walk to look for the goods in the frozen park. But Parker also faces a huge pile of problems. The ground here is twice as deep as he thought it would be, so he has to move a lot of dirt and spend a lot of money on big machines. Every day that went by, he wasted more money than he had, and the amounts added up quickly. The harsh Alaskan winter, with its blinding blizzards and freezing temperatures, adds to the difficulties of the task. Parker is always up for a task, so he gives this his all. He moves in next to Dominion Creek, which used to be quiet and peaceful, with his trusty backhoe, the Beast, and a group of trucks and other heavy equipment. The area is now full of people who are digging for gold. He uses high-tech methods like high banker mining and careful data analysis to give himself every edge in the search. Gold isn't the only thing that can change in this situation, of course. His team, old miners and friends, are also important to his success. From Mitch's careful turning to Rick's never-ending driving, each member brings something to the group by using their own skills and unwavering dedication. Even though there was a lot at stake, Parker's eyes lit up with excitement, and he looked to the future. He hopes that Dominion Creek will become his El Dorado, his paradise for digging for gold, and his launching pad for financial success. His $15 million bet is weighing heavy on his mind. Will Parker's risk pay off? Are the gold hunters of the Klondike going to remember him if he gets rich? Will the hard, harsh ground and the stress crush all of his dreams? It's pretty clear how to answer these questions. He is about to go bankrupt, which means his job is in danger. But let's take a closer look at the truth before we jump to any assumptions. Does Parker Schnabel, the young Klondike cartel boss, really find himself in a financial mess? That being said, it's clear that the last few years have been tough for him, but announcing his bankruptcy may come too quickly. Parker must not have any more money because he decided to bet so much on the huge claim in Dominion Creek, which costs $15 million. The ground is much deeper than thought, and it will take a lot of work and huge machines to dig it out. Winter comes and makes things even harder. His budget is already very tight, but every day it gets even tighter. But Parker's true financial problems will never be known for sure, even though there are a lot of rumors that he is about to run out of money. But delays in getting gold and the size of the Dominion Creek business have put his resources to the test. Still, it would be wrong to talk about bankruptcy as something that is about to happen. Parker is a smart businessman who always does what's best. He has a history of making it through tough economic times and a large group of investors and allies behind him. Also, some of his old mines, like Scribner Creek and Eureka, are still making gold and protecting him. It's more possible that Parker is going through a process of reorganizing its finances. He might have to renegotiate loans, look for new investors, or even shut down the business. This wouldn't end Gold Rush's hopes of moving to the north. Instead, it would help him get used to his new home. Parker's journey has always been marked by fighting through hard times. On the other hand, he has been let down and gone beyond its limits. It was possible for him to make his way through the harsh Klondike. He is very determined and creative, which are two of his best traits that will help him get through these tough times. One thing is for sure though, Parker's story is far from over. After all, Dominion Creek is for the long run, and it has huge potential. Returns may seem low at first, but a big gold strike could change everything. While this is going on, Parker's case is getting a lot of attention, but the gold rush is really about a lot of different miners and their problems and successes. That being said, it would be too soon to say that Parker is done, even though there are concerns about his finances. People say that when things are bad, you have to do crazy things. In the case of Parker Schnabel, the saying is very true. He goes after a claim again that looks like it has nothing left, hoping that it has a valuable prize that can save his money. If you take this chance, it's risky, no matter how much it pays off. Parker may be grasping at straws to save his life if the frozen earth fails to produce. This could mean even more financial trouble for him. Now is the time to buckle up and stay put, because the next part is about to start. What could the shovel find? You never know what might happen, right? We could also catch a glimpse of Tony Beats's major logistical problem at the Klondike from last week's show. He gets excited and decides to try to make money in the risky Indian River claim. There is a winding, muddy road and steep, dangerous hills waiting for him. Bad moods and curse words are everywhere, and there are flakes and a rock in the trip. Even though it's small, it's a good start to the season. Even so, the creeks are still full of water, which makes Tony's golden dreams very hard to come true. At the same time, Rick Ness, the outsider who is great at coming up with new ideas, runs into a problem that makes it harder for him to reach his 1,000-ounce goal. A tire blows out on his trusty old loader, which is what powers their trio machine. They get stuck and need Parker's help. One more person on Rick Ness's team is in a different kind of fight. A man with trust problems and a troubled past who seems like a good fit for the crew for other reasons wants to get a job because he is desperate for work. Rick is always hopeful though, and he thinks that the man could be the gift that helps them reach their big goal. Will this risk pay off, or will it cause other issues that put the whole business at risk? We don't know what will happen to each worker in the future. Can Tony get to his claim despite the dangerous roads? Will the new person Rick hired really help them reach their goal? Will this risk save Parker Golden or cause him to lose even more money? There have been times in the past when it seemed like a miner was about to go bankrupt on the show, but it never did. Almost bankrupt times. Like the light of gold, the path to wealth in the Klondike is always just one step away from ending badly financially. As of now, none of the Gold Rush group members have gone bankrupt, but there have been many close calls. In Season 9, Episode 6, Broken, the big man Todd Hoffman, who was in charge of the Hoffman crew at the time, had to make a very hard decision. His mining dreams looked like they were going to fail as his bills grew. The gold veins ran dry, and problems started to arise within the company. In the end, though, a late finding of gold can only give people a short respite. The episode also shows how difficult it can be to keep up with money in the Klondike. Their lack of cash has hurt more than just the miners. It has hurt the whole gold mining ecosystem. In Season 8, Dave Turin, the owner of a family-run machine rental business, had to deal with falling demand and tough competition. The people who supported the rush and chaos of the gold rush are not about to go bankrupt. But hearing that Dave is fighting just to keep his business going makes us think of how fragile the finances of those who supported it were. In Season 6, Fred and Dustin, the Dakota boys, were put under a lot of pressure to open a new claim and get their money back. Chris Dumit had to keep the flag flying over his struggling business in Season 7. No matter if these cases ended in bankruptcy or not, they all show the worries about money that were common in the Klondike gold mine world. These are some of the ones that got a lot of attention. Some bad things happened at the beginning of Season 14, but there have been great finds that have brought us happiness, joy, and, of course, money. Things of value found during Season 14. Though Season 14 of Gold Rush has only just begun, no one has yet claimed to have the biggest gold nugget. Still, some of the amazing discoveries have already been printed in newspapers. Parker's team found a big 57-ounce nugget named Chunkster in Episode 2. Even though it wasn't the biggest find of the season, it was a huge return to form for the experienced prospector, who had just recently gotten over money problems and pressure from people who didn't like how Paradise Hill was run. He needed this discovery to give him hope, and it confirmed his opinion that his claim was full of gold. He has also been to Klondike many times, but has yet to leave the season with his share of gold. Even though none of these nuggets are huge, Tony does well every time he gets a hold of one because he is focused and has a lot of experience. He has learned that the keys to high returns, which change from year to year, are good planning, hard work, and keeping an eye on the long game. The team led by unconventional dredge miner Rick Ness was paid for their hard work in Episode 8. It turned out that they had found a beautiful 30-ounce nugget. This was good for Rick and his team's morale, and a good message to everyone that gold can be found almost anywhere. This find gave them a lot more gold for the season. As the season goes on, the search for the golden rock is still going on. Who will find the big nugget of the season? Is it going to be one big dragon or several smaller ones? Time will tell. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to get more. Click the video on your screen to see more mind-blowing movies while you're still here.